Welcome to the Kendall Report. Well, it's here. It's Friday and it's unemployment day, the day that the markets have been waiting for all week. And one of the more interesting things was I was about to post on Twitter in that final half hour when the market started to rally. Did someone leak the unemployment numbers? Because the markets came screaming. In fact, rallied 30 handles in that final hour. It was an absolutely rip your face off rally. I had just tweeted about the range that was hit on the market grid, and it flew right through. In fact, we traded up through the RTX number on the SPX and gave an RTX sell signal. I don't have a lot of high expectations. Maybe we'll see some early weakness tomorrow, but anything's on for tomorrow. Momentum is starting to swing back to the upside. Other elements that I'll go through in the technical details here in just a few minutes. But as we look at yesterday, S&P up 0.8, NASDAQ up 0.4, and the Russell flat. We're still not getting any traction in these secondary stocks, and that is likely to continue. In fact, we have 86 earnings reports coming out. Just like on Thursday's earnings reports, most of them are mid and small cap companies reporting. There was very little effect of those reports on the markets yesterday. We also saw the claims come out down 90,000 at 498. The expectation was around the 540 to 530 level. We did come in much better than expected. The continuing claims remain right at that 3.69, 3.66 level. It's just been stable. So I didn't get my magical 3.2 million number that I've been talking about. But there was plenty of action yesterday. It was interesting that the stocks that moved the most on the downside were Uber, Twilio, Etsy, Fastly, all the companies that were related even to recent IPOs or other types of recovery strategies and trades out of 2020 are really pulling back very substantially in this particular environment. Nothing can make it more evident than looking at ARK Investments, ARKK, the innovation strategy, as it just continues to go straight down and plummet through the 200-day moving average. The other report that will be out today will be consumer credit. Not a real big deal. It will demonstrate what kind of activity is going on in the economy from the consumer spending. The last thing I'll mention, since it is Friday, is our intermediate models get run on Friday after the close. And my expectation is that they're going to stay stable, and possibility is starting to move the percent bullish up above 80% here as we're starting to see some acceleration come into the markets. The daily models did have a slightly positive rotation today. We had 663 new buys, 483 sells. We remain right around 56%. I'll discuss this here in a few minutes. But as we come into Friday, I'm looking for further advances in the market. We could see it go sideways because of the RTX sell. It looks to me that momentum is trying to build here and that we might see further acceleration as we come into next week. Let's go ahead and take a look at the charts and see how the end of the week is setting up. As I begin review of the WaveTech Database, as I mentioned in the opening comments, we did see a net buying on the models. We saw 663 new buys versus 483 sells. We had a slight positive or neutral viewpoint as far as the database goes. We are looking at the short-term database at 56.38. The key numbers that I talk about all the time are the 62% level. We did get just slightly above the 62% level, and it backed off to the 55% level. A move back above 62% will be positive. We'll see how we trade today. More traction coming into the short-term database. As I mentioned in the opening comments, I do expect to see a stable, that the intermediate database will start to get more traction, moving up toward 80, maybe 82% bullish from the current levels. If we are going to get some buys, I would look to the financial, energy, and basic materials as still in a positive rotation from a sector viewpoint. As I begin with the review of the S&P futures, we are up 8.75 handles overnight. We're trading at 42.03. As we look at the market grid for today, R1 is 42.06. The high's been 42.03.75 overnight. 41.92 is the low. S1 41.82. I would look for the potential for an S1 R2 level today. That would push us up into an all-time new high at 42.19 plus. If we are able to take out the R2 number, then the next numbers in the sequence are 42.32 and 42.44, which would be an all-time new high. As we look at SPX, as I mentioned in the opening comments, we did get a close above the RTX number, 4206.46. We closed at 4201.62, so by about $1 and change. A lot of times I will discount this. It should be washed, but what we're seeing here is the acceleration. PPM1 has actually taken out its first derivative. We're starting to see some acceleration. We're also seeing that the market grid has turned up for Friday on a daily basis. As we look at that, same expectation, S1 41.91, R2 42.23, yesterday's high 42.04, and the all-time high that we've seen so far is 42.18. So I would expect to see that we would move the markets up toward that level, which would be an R2 hit. So S1, R2, and it's possible if we get through these R2 numbers that the market could move substantially higher as we're into all-time new high or ATH levels. Also, I want to mention that Wednesday was to be a cycle low, and the action that we got on Thursday confirms that's the case. So we should see at least another 3 to 5 sessions higher in this pattern. Looking at the weekly chart, I discussed this pattern. We've actually been completely flat for the past 4 weeks. I'll review this again quickly. 4 weeks ago, we closed at 41.85, then 41.80, 41.81, and now we have the possibility of closing for the first time over 4,200 on a weekly basis. Should that occur, it will set the tone for some of the objectives that I've talked about, and I'll update those on Sunday night if we get these closes. The next market I cover is the NASDAQ. We're up 54 handles right now, up 0.4 overnight. We did see the market continue to remain above the 40-period moving average. I discussed this in last night's video. I do expect to see us move toward the 10-week moving average, 13,772. As we look at the market grid for today, 13,737 is R2. So the expectation is an S1 R2 level. I don't see the 40-period moving average at 13,504 being taken out. We should remain above that level and start to move higher in this pattern as we come into next week. As we review the weekly chart, the key number here is going to be the 10-week moving average, 13,402. The low's been 13,380. So we did trade just below that level, but I do not believe we'll be able to close under that level. And the PPM1 is turning up. It's at a plus 0.56, PPM2 0.47, and PPM56. This gives a very strong probability for us to move back up toward the upper end of the market grid next week. The final market that I'll cover tonight is gold. I've been talking about gold moving over 1,800. It has done that now. We're at 1815. We did close and signal an RTX sell signal, which just means a couple days sideways in this pattern. That number was 1811.80. The market closed at 1815.70. We are off just a little bit right now, 70 cents, no big deal. We should hold the S1, S2 levels, which would be 1808, 1801. We should remain above that number. The key numbers that I want to show you, which will be the weekly, a close above 1811 would give us a RTX sell signal on a weekly level, so I'm fine with seeing the market pulling back toward the 1800 level. As long as we remain above that, we should set the tone for next week. And even if we do get a close above the 1811.60 and get an RTX sell, it's just going to suggest more consolidation. And I'll talk about this on Sunday night as we look at the longer term and the secular trends that are setting up. This will complete the video for tonight. I want to thank everybody for participating in the channel and watching my videos. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Sunday night. Hey everyone, Bob Kendall here. Just want to thank you all for watching my videos. If you do want to support the channel, go to www.kendallreport.com/WaveTech. Sign up for our software. You get Market Grid on 165 individual stocks and indices. You also will get 16,500 buy and sell signals on our entire database. I thank you so much for supporting the channel. Those of you that are already signed up, thank you so much.